Welcome to the deep dive. Sometimes modern life just feels, loud, doesn't it?
Intensely loud, yeah.
We're constantly hit with information, expectations, notifications everywhere, and there's this feeling underneath it all, I think, of wanting to be seen.
Or to find something meaningful in all that noise. It's a common thread, feeling a bit lost in the sheer volume.
Definitely. Well, today we're going to dive into an idea that really tries to cut through that. It's this profound notion that the universe might actually be always talking to you.
Not literally talking, though.
No, not in words exactly. More like in signs, moments, these quiet feelings that just sort of bubble up.
Synchronicities, maybe?
Exactly. Our deep dive today is all about how the divine, which the source describes as this kind of universal, loving intelligence available to everyone, how it shows up, often in really unexpected ways.
And we're using a specific source for this.
We are. It's this really intriguing guide called The Hidden Light in Ordinary Moments. Now, what's fascinating about this source, our source material, is where it comes from. It's not some, dense academic text.
Right.
It's actually an audio-video explainer made for teenagers, believe it or not.
Interesting approach.
Yeah, the goal was to make these quite deep concepts explained simply, and has this very calm, honest, relatable tone, which, honestly, I think makes the insights even more powerful.
So accessible, but still deep.
Precisely.
Yeah.
So while it's aimed young, we're going to unpack its wisdom for you, our listener, today. We'll explore the deeper side of what it calls magical encounters with ascended masters.
Yeah, what I find really compelling here is how this source manages to take experiences that could easily sound mystical, maybe even a bit out there, and translate them into something incredibly relatable, grounded almost.
Yeah.
So for listeners who are maybe already exploring these ideas or just curious, it offers this fresh way in. It simplifies, but in a way that actually invites you to look deeper, I think.
It really does. And it doesn't waste any time getting us there.
Right.
The source just drops us right into this scene. Picture this. You're walking down a busy city street.
Okay.
Your mind's probably buzzing, thinking about your day, maybe lost in thought.
Pretty normal.
And then, bam, a figure appears. But not just anyone. The source says they're glowing with warmth and kindness.
Glowing. Okay, that's less normal.
Right. And this figure looks at you, smiles gently, and speaks in French. Alors, mon petit.
Which means?
Ah, my little one. Very tender.
Okay, so French, glowing,
Right.
on a busy street.
Yeah. And the source acknowledges this straight away. It says your first reaction, totally natural, might be, that's weird?
Understatement, maybe?
Perhaps. But then it immediately pushes back, gently. It asks, what if it wasn't weird? What if it was a message?
So it's challenging that instant dismissal.
Exactly. It's asking us to just pause before we label it and move on.
And that's really the key, isn't it? This initial interaction is framed like a doorway, an invitation to see things differently. Yep. For someone who's maybe naturally skeptical or tends to just call that a coincidence, the source gives a way to think about it as maybe a presence, not just an odd thing that happened.
A presence. I like that.
If you connect it to, like, the bigger picture, psychologically or spiritually, it's about cultivating this kind of radical openness.
Right.
Being willing to consider that maybe not every unusual thing is just random noise. It's not about blindly believing, maybe more like suspending your pre-beliefs for a second.
Suspending pre-beliefs. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
Allowing for a moment of just wonder.
Exactly. How hard do you think that pivot is for most people, though? Going from that's weird to hang on, is this something more?
Oh, I think it's incredibly hard. We're so conditioned to explain things away, categorize them, get rid of the uncertainty.
Right. File it away.
Yeah. But the source really leans into that wonder, makes it feel okay. And the story keeps going. It gets even more symbolic.
Okay.
So this glowing figure, they sort of fade into light.
Fade into light. Okay.
And then another really unexpected thing happens. A bird lands right on the person's shoulder.
Wow. Like out of a movie.
Kind of.
Yeah.
But it's specific.
Right.
Not just any bird. And it sings this very distinct little song. Kukri, kuki, kuki.
Agree. Huh. Very specific sound.
It really is. It sticks with you. And the source describes the impact of this whole sequence.
Yeah.
It says, suddenly everything changes. The world feels alive. The trees sway. The clouds dance.
So it's like this birdsong flips a switch internally.
That's exactly how it reads. Like this simple, unexpected moment unlocks this hidden vibrancy in everything around them. The ordinary just shifts. becomes meaningful.
That's a really beautiful way to describe how our internal state can totally change how we see the outside world.
Yeah.
And the source is careful, right? It says the birdsong isn't literal magic like a fairy tale.
Right, not spells and wands.
Yeah, but it is a message. Which brings up a really interesting question for us, I think.
What's that?
How often do we just miss these kinds of subtle messages? Things in nature, maybe. Because we're just not tuned in.
All the time, probably.
Yeah. Think about those moments of synchronicity people talk about, hearing a song on the radio that speaks directly to something you were just thinking.
Or seeing the same number sequence over and over.
Exactly. The source seems to be nudging us to look at those moments, not just as random chance, but as potential communication. Like nature itself is trying to tell us something. We could just learn the language.
Learn the language.
Yeah.
That implies it takes effort on our part, doesn't it? We have to actively listen or tune in, like you said.
It does. It suggests we're not just passive recipients.
And then the source goes further. It actually gives identities to these encounters and names them.
Ah, okay. Who are they?
We learned the glowing man was Kuthumi, a guide who has helped many souls across time.
Kuthumi. Okay, that name might ring a bell for some listeners familiar with esoteric traditions, often linked with wisdom, teaching.
Yes, exactly. An ascended master, part of that tradition.
Right.
Guiding humanity sort of behind the scenes.
And the birdsong.
That, the source says, was a message from Adamus Saint Germain, who speaks through nature, music, and signs.
Adamus Saint Germain, another significant figure in those circles, often associated with freedom, transformation, alchemy, almost.
Right. The violet flame is often linked to him, using spiritual means to create change. So,
yeah.
two distinct figures communicating in different ways.
And the source broadens this out, doesn't it? It talks about luminaries beyond time.
It does. It frames them not as like distant gods, but more like cosmic mentors.
Mentors, yeah. Or maybe like a big brother or sister, as the source puts it.
Yes. I love that description. It makes them feel close, not far off, but always near, watching, guiding, loving.
It really personalizes it, takes it from abstract concept to something potentially very comforting, like part of a bigger, supportive family.
It also mentions historical figures, Pythagoras, St. Francis, even Comte de Saint-Germain.
Right, to show this isn't just a new idea, but maybe a continuous thread of influence across history. Guides popping up in different eras. But it's interesting, isn't it, why the source might show Kuthumi speaking directly.
Alors, mon petit.
Well, Adamus Saint Germain uses a bird song. What do you think that difference suggests about how guidance might work?
That's a great point. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe it shows there isn't just one way guidance comes through.
Like different frequencies or different methods.
Yeah. Kuthumi's direct words feel like clear wisdom, very comforting and direct, while Adamus Saint Germain's message through nature feels more energetic.
Like a shift in vibration rather than explicit instructions.
Exactly. It influences your mood, your perception of the environment. It highlights that messages can come through any of our senses, really, or just as a feeling.
Which leads right into the core message they deliver.
It does. And it's described as being whispered, but not with actual words, or like a feeling washing over you.
Okay.
And the message is just beautiful. Beloved child, know that every moment carries meaning.
Every moment.
Wow. Whether it's a kind word, a bird song, or a ray of sunlight, the divine is speaking to you.
So paying attention to the small things.
Absolutely. And then the call to action. Be open. Be still. Be aware.
The 3 keys.
Yes. And the reassurance, you are never alone. It's just such a powerful, simple affirmation of connection.
Let's unpack those 3 a bit. Be open, be still, be aware. They sound simple, but
they're huge in practice.
Exactly. In our world, how often are we truly open? Not just intellectually accepting an idea, but emotionally open to something unexpected, something that maybe doesn't fit our neat little boxes.
Right, or even open to our own intuition sometimes.
Definitely. And then stillness, being still inside when everything outside is buzzing, that's a challenge.
Right.
Quieting the mental chatter enough to even notice these subtle things.
That's the hard one for me, I think. The stillness.
I think it is for many people. And finally, awareness. Really seeing that ray of sunlight not just as light, but maybe feeling it as, I don't know, a connection, a reminder.
Perceiving the meaning within the ordinary.
Yes. It's not passive. It's an active way of engaging with the world. Cultivating these attitudes is almost like a spiritual practice in itself. It really can shift how you experience your day-to-day life.
Turning the mundane into something, well, potentially magical.
It makes you wonder, doesn't it? In the middle of a busy week, which of those 3 open, still aware feels like the biggest hurdle for you personally.
Like I said, definitely be still. My brain just wants to keep going, analyzing, planning. To consciously choose stillness, that takes real intention.
Yeah, me too sometimes. The doing mind takes over.
But that's precisely the point the Source is making, I feel. It's about finding that hidden light right there in your life, your moments.
Not somewhere else, not for someone else.
Exactly. It's not just for mystics on a mountaintop.
Yeah.
It's presented as universal, accessible, right here, right now.
And it has a lasting effect on the person in the story.
Oh, absolutely. The transformation described is profound. It says after this encounter, the person walked differently.
Walked differently. How so?
It implies an internal shift, I think. They looked up at the sky, they listened to the birds, they smiled at strangers.
So more present, more connected to the world around them and to other people.
Yes, it wasn't just a momentary high. It changed how they moved through the world, how they interacted. They understood deep down that the divine was always with them.
That internal shift leading to external changes, walking differently suggests a new way of being in the world. Less isolated, maybe.
I think so. Less lost in thought, more engaged. Looking up, listening, smiling. Those are all acts of connection, aren't they?
They are. It shows that embracing this idea of guidance isn't just an internal comfort. It can actually lead to a more compassionate, outward-focused way of living.
And the Source brings it back to that core comfort. You are never alone.
Such a simple, powerful message.
And it gives this beautiful, practical piece of advice, almost an invitation. If you feel lost, disconnected, just close your eyes and listen.
Listen for what?
Maybe a song. Or see a light internally. Or just feel something, like a hand on your shoulder saying, "Oh, mon petit, I'm here."
Wow. That brings it full circle, back to that initial encounter.
Exactly. It's a reminder that this connection, this guidance, is always accessible. Within you, around you. A direct line almost.
So wrapping this up then, the main takeaway from our deep dive into the hidden light in ordinary moments.
Yeah, I think it boils down to this. Every sign, every song, every moment is a whisper from the divine.
A whisper you have to be tuned in to hear.
Right. The Source reminds us that the Cree bird is always singing. That communication, that loving presence, it's constant, always there. We just need to cultivate that openness, that stillness, that awareness to receive it.
And the Source offers one final thought, framing this whole narrative not just as a nice story, but as a sacred mirror.
A mirror, meaning?
Meaning it suggests that when you really engage with this idea, you won't just think, oh, that's interesting. You're more likely to feel a flicker of recognition, to say, wait, I think I felt that too.
I've seen that light.
I've heard that song, or something like it. Which leads to a really personal question for you, listening now.
Okay.
Where in your own life, looking back maybe, might you have overlooked a little whisper, a sign, a moment of connection that perhaps now you're seeing with fresh eyes, a little bit of hidden light you didn't notice before?
That's a powerful question to sit with. We really invite you to carry that with you. To try and remain open, to find moments to be still, to cultivate that awareness of the small things unfolding around you.
That unexpected kindness, maybe.
Or that sudden idea that pops into your head, or that perfect coincidence. Maybe it's not just random. Maybe it's a whisper, just for you.
A little "Aloha, mon petit" from the universe.
Exactly. Thanks for joining us on the Deep Dive today. We hope you find your own hidden light in the everyday.